So we have never cared about appearances on this channel, and I don't see why that has to change now. But welcome back to my channel. It's been a while. I've been gone away, and just to get the ball rolling, I'll share a huge life update that I moved across the world. I moved from Pakistan, and I'm now in Canada, and I will be here for the future because I moved permanently. I've been inactive because the process of moving was stressful, and then when I moved, things were not hard, but just very, very busy and hectic because I had to figure out how to be an adult and how to live on my own and how to do things on my own. And all of that has been an adventure of its own. And I have not been able to read much. I did read earlier in the beginning of the year, and I'll eventually share those updates at some point. But right now, I wanted to share the life update and be back and just get the ball rolling and talk about books, because I realized that I actually really miss BookTube. And now that I am a member of the Toronto Public Library, I have every book that I would ever possibly need at my disposal. And now is my chance to read as much as I want to, or not read as much as I want to, but basically get any book that I would like to read. So without wasting any more time, I'll show you the books that are the ones I have. 4 of them I've bought. One is from the library, and just to share them, and then we'll see the future of this channel and see if I can continue making videos, but I would really love to. So the first book that I would like to show you guys, it's called Obasan by Joy Kogawa. This is the book. It's from the library, and this is basically a story set around World War II, and it's about Japanese Canadians. So it's the moving story of Japanese Canadians during the Second World War. Obasan is told through the eyes of a child. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, the life of 5-year-old Naomi is changed forever. Separated from her mother, she watches bewildered as she and her family become enemy aliens, persecuted and despised in their own land. So basically, this is a fiction book. It's about immigrants and how they were treated in the aftermath of the Pearl Harbor attack, which happened in America, but consequences were clearly suffered far and wide. I'm not very far in. I'm only 18 pages in, and it's due in the next week. So this is the one that I have to make a lot of progress on. But I bought another book, which I'm kind of currently more actively reading, which is called Our Voice of Fire, a memoir of a warrior rising by Brandy Morin. This is the book. I don't have bookmarks here, so I'm using something else, but basically this is a non-fiction book about a woman from the Indigenous community. And as I moved to Canada, this is a history that I'm completely unaware of. Like, I heard about the residential schools a couple of years ago, and then there was some of that story which was talked about in the show And Without an E, but I did not know the history of that. So this is basically a memoir of a journalist who is covering a story of how this one native girl from the indigenous community, and I don't know the proper terms for this, so please feel free to educate me, whether it's the First Nations people, indigenous people, what is the word that they prefer. So it's basically her covering a story about a 15-year-old who went missing and then she was murdered, and it's supposed to reflect how Indigenous women and girls have been disappearing for years and years, and nobody has been paying a lot of attention to them. So with this, I'm 32 pages in, very interested. And the third one, that's the one I bought. I don't know if I mentioned that. The third book that I have to show you is also on the same themes. It's called Unreconciled by Jessie Wente. I hope that's how you pronounce it. It's family truth and Indigenous resistance. So this is also non-fiction, and it says Jessie Wente remembers the exact moment he realized that he was a certain kind of Indian, a stereotypical cartoon Indian. He was playing softball as a child when the opposing team began to war whoop when he was at bat. And many similar incidents form Wente's understanding of what it means to be a modern Indigenous person in a society still overwhelmingly colonial in its attitudes and institutions. So I got out of breath just reading that. But I'm also very interested in this one. I bought this one from Indigo, which is a bookshop that I explored. And that's basically what I want to make the focus of my reading, because this is a history that I know nothing of, and I definitely would like to learn more. The next 2 books I got from used bookstores. They're a little bit different because I You know, there's a perception, okay, this is really random and it's a story I feel like I kind of want to tell. But when I was living in Pakistan, walking was a hassle. You could not just go out and walk on your own. And a 20-minute walk seemed like a huge deal. Like, I can't walk 20 minutes. I'm just going to take the car out, go there, come back. And walking is not generally a thing that people do there, especially women. If you're a man, you're like, no, I walk everywhere, like, congratulations. But reality is very, very different for women. So I wasn't familiar with the concept of just walking everywhere. And now I just Google, I was like, what's the closest bookstore? Oh, it's a 20-minute walk. I can just do this. And then I just walk, like, not even I just walk on my own. And I just love that. Like, I think when people ask me what's the most important thing that, like, or what's the biggest change, I was like, just walking, being on the road and just walking, like, that's fun for me. Anyhow, so I walked to a bookstore. It was called The Great Escape. I'm too shy to film in public spaces, and if I do, then I have this fear that, like, they'll tell me off and they won't be happy with me. But I'll post a picture because I took a picture. And this bookstore, I picked up 2 books. One of them is called Burnt Sugar by Avni Doshi, and I remember that I've heard a lot of things about this book. It came out a couple of years ago, and from what I remember, this is about a woman who has a very troubled relationship with her mother, and it's a story about that. And because it was a small bookstore, I just wanted to support it, so I picked up another book. It's called Spellbound by Blake Charlton, and I believe this is some kind of like an old-fashioned fantasy book. Like, this is the book. I have no idea what it's about, but I went there, I was very confused, I didn't know what to get, so I just picked these 2 books up. So that's the update for now. I would just like to know in the comments how everyone is, how life has been for you all, and if you would like to see more videos or any specific things you would like me to cover. I do have a bookshelf, and I have a few books that I bought from Pakistan here, and I'm stocking it, as you can see, with books that I'm getting here as well. So I can do a mini bookshelf tour. There's not much on it, but we can do that. And I get to do a lot of fun things here every weekend, so that's really nice. So vlogs are definitely something that I'm looking to do. But anyhow, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.